The Unraveling of Us, a story of Peter and Emily. Peter had always believed in the best of people, a hopeless romantic in a world full of cynics. So, when he first met Emily at a friend's engagement party, he was spellbound. She had a magnetic energy that pulled everyone into her orbit, charming, witty, with a wild laugh that made heads turn. But Peter's friends weren't as enchanted. "Be careful, Pete," his best friend Marcus had warned. "She's got a history, and not the kind that ends well. Ask around, there's always drama where Emily's involved." There were stories that she had been in several serious relationships, that each ended in spectacular fallout. The rumors painted her as controlling, manipulative, even calculating. But Peter chose to believe in the Emily he saw, not the one in whispers and shadows. She had told him how people misunderstood her, how her exes always messed things up, and Peter, blinded by affection, believed her. When he proposed a year later, his friends stayed quiet, masks of forced smiles on their faces. Today, Peter realized they hadn't been wrong. They had seen what he had refused to. For the first few years, Peter and Emily's marriage was fine. Not magical, not disastrous, just fine. But 6 months ago, the fine started slipping into something else. It began subtly. Emily taking her phone into the bathroom, locking it with a password when she'd never cared before. She stopped laughing at his jokes, stopped making weekend plans. Conversations grew cold. She began texting constantly, then hiding the screen when Peter glanced over. He chalked it up to stress. Maybe work, maybe burnout. Then came the oddities. A bouquet of exotic orchids arrived one evening while Peter was cooking. Not from him. When he asked, Emily snatched the card and claimed it was from a client. Too fast. Too rehearsed. Then, strange suggestions. "We should really get all our financial stuff in one folder," she said casually one night. "Like in case something happens. You never know with life." That might have passed for practical, if she hadn't repeated it 3 times in 1 week, each time with increasing insistence. When Peter asked why it suddenly mattered, she brushed him off. Something inside him started to twist. One Wednesday afternoon, Emily said she was meeting a friend for coffee. Peter happened to be nearby and decided to surprise her. From his car across the street, he saw her outside the cafe, pacing, on a call. He cracked the window and heard snippets. "It's almost done. Yes, all of it. He's clueless. We'll start fresh soon." That night, Peter didn't sleep. The next morning, he reached out to a trusted family lawyer, Mr. Grant, whom he'd known through his late father. He laid everything out, still trying not to sound paranoid. Mr. Grant didn't laugh. He leaned in and said quietly, "Peter, it's better to act now than regret later. You don't have to panic, but you do have to protect yourself." Over the next 2 weeks, Emily shifted tactics. She started playing warm and cold. One evening, she cooked Peter's favorite meal, something she hadn't done in over a year. Another day, she texted him midday, "Miss your face today." It felt off. Like she was acting a role. But then she'd slip. Peter found strange receipts in her bag. A perfume he didn't recognize. Dinners for 2 at places they'd never visited together. Once, she left her iPad open on the kitchen counter. A string of deleted messages in her chat history caught Peter's eye. Nothing concrete, just enough to feel the depth of what was hiding beneath her smile. She was testing the water, seeing how close she could get to the cliff's edge before pushing him off. The real blow came during a friend's rooftop birthday party. Peter had been chatting with an old college buddy when Emily stormed over, drink in hand, face flushed with fury. "You seriously forgot to pick up the dry cleaning again?" she hissed loudly, though Peter hadn't been asked to do any such thing. He blinked, confused. "What are you talking about? You never listen to me," she shouted, drawing attention from every corner of the party. "It's always about you, your work, your routine. God, do I even matter anymore?" People turned to stare. A few guests exchanged glances of pity. Peter, stunned, raised his hands in a quiet plea. "Emily, can we not do this here?" "Oh, now you care about how it looks. How convenient," she spat. And then, with dramatic finality, she threw her drink into a nearby planter and stormed out. Peter stood frozen in place, the whispering crowd behind him. That night, she texted, "We need to talk. I'm filing for divorce." Weeks later, they sat across from each other in a cold, sterile mediation room. Emily arrived in a beige power suit with her lawyer, a shark-eyed man named Mr. Klein, armed with a thick binder. Her demands were clear. Half the house, Peter's savings, a chunk of his investment portfolio, the car, and monthly spousal support. Mr. Klein leaned forward, confident. Given Ms. Emily's contributions to the household and sacrifices made during the marriage, we believe this division is not only fair but deserved. Peter said nothing. He only looked toward Mr. Grant, who gave a small nod and slid a stack of documents across the table. Before we move forward, Mr. Grant said, calm but firm, I'd like everyone to review these. Emily's lawyer scoffed. Then he read the first page. His smirk faded. These are property transfers, Mr. Klein muttered. Trust documents? Correct, said Mr. Grant. All major assets, home, savings, and investments, were moved into an irrevocable trust under Peter's mother's name, several weeks before the divorce notice was served. Fully legal, fully notarized, fully protected. Emily shot up from her seat. What? You moved everything? Peter looked her in the eye. I followed my lawyer's advice. You tricked me, she snapped, voice rising. You were planning this. I protected myself, Peter replied coldly. That's all. Mr. Klein was already leafing through the pages in disbelief. These dates. This was done before we filed. Yes, Mr. Grant smiled politely. Which makes it completely above board. Emily's mouth trembled. You bastard, she whispered, realizing her empire of manipulation had crumbled. She called him dozens of times. Left long voicemails that ranged from apologetic sobs to bitter threats. We were supposed to be partners, she pleaded in one. You just threw us away. Peter never responded. Friends who once questioned his silence now reached out with understanding. Even Emily's brother, who had taken her side, called to apologize. I didn't know, man. She played everyone. As for Emily, her fantasy collapsed. Jake, her rumored new flame, disappeared once it was clear there'd be no money. Rumors say he ghosted her, blocked her number, moved cities. She was left alone in a rented apartment with nothing but her pride and a trail of burned bridges. Peter, on the other hand, moved forward. He repainted the house with his mother, spent weekends reconnecting with old friends, and returned to the calm rhythm he once knew. No more paranoia. No more games. The chapter had ended, not with the bang Emily hoped for, but with the quiet triumph of truth and preparation. And now, Peter finally sees what love isn't, and knows what to look for when it comes again. Hope you enjoyed the story of Peter and Emily. If you'd like to hear more such intriguing tales, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us grow and bring more stories your way.